Despite the recent loss of my brother, the late King Hamlet, and the ensuing period of mourning throughout our kingdom, life must continue. While it's essential to honor his memory, it's also important to consider my own well-being. Therefore, I have chosen to marry my former sister-in-law, Queen Gertrude, with a mix of emotions, both joy and sadness. I am aware that in marrying Gertrude, I am following the counsel of many of you, for which I am grateful. Now, let's address the current situation. You're all aware of the challenges we face. Young Fortinbras, perhaps underestimating my resolve or presuming that the king's death has left my country vulnerable, seeks to challenge me. He persistently demands that I relinquish the territory lost by his father to my late brother-in-law, King Hamlet. That's the situation regarding Fortinbras. Here's the plan of action. I've corresponded with Fortinbras's uncle, the current ruler of Norway, an elderly and infirm man who is largely unaware of his nephew's ambitions. I've instructed the uncle to halt Fortinbras's plans, a directive he has the authority to enforce, given that all the troops mustered by young Fortinbras are Norwegian and therefore under the uncle's jurisdiction. I entrust the delivery of this letter to you, esteemed Cornelius, and to you, Voltimand. Your mission in Norway will be solely focused on this objective. Now, farewell. Demonstrate your loyalty by departing promptly, instead of with lengthy speeches.
We'll do our duty to you in that and everything else.
We will. We are your trusted assistants always.
I don't doubt the slightest you boys will do anything but make me proud. Cheerio. And now, Laertes, what is it you wish to discuss with me? You have a request to make. Speak up, Laertes. You'll never be wasting your words when conversing with the King of Denmark. What could you possibly ask for that I wouldn't grant you? Your father's legacy and the Danish throne are as intimately connected as the mind and the heart, or the hand and the mouth. So, what is your request, Laertes?
My lord, I seek your approval to return to France, from whence I came to attend your coronation in Denmark. I must admit, my mind is preoccupied with thoughts of France now that my duties here are fulfilled. I implore you, grant me permission to depart.
Have you obtained your father's consent? What is Polonius's stance on this matter?
My son has incessantly pestered me with his requests. Eventually, I reluctantly acquiesced. I implore you, allow him to depart.
In that case, Laertes, feel free to depart whenever you wish, and indulge in whatever pursuits you desire. I hereby approve your request and wish you well. Now, on to Hamlet, my nephew and my son.
More like family in name than in nature.
Why do you remain so melancholic, with a cloud hovering over you?
That's incorrect, sir. Your son is currently enjoying the sunshine.
My dear Hamlet, stop wearing these black clothes and be friendly to the king. You can't spend your whole life with your eyes to the ground remembering your noble father. It happens all the time. What lives must die eventually, passing to eternity.
Indeed, mother, it's a common occurrence.
Then why does it appear to affect you so deeply in particular?
Appears, madam. No, it is. I am not familiar with appears. It's not just my dark attire, dear mother, nor the usual garments of mourning. It's not the heavy sighs or the forced breath, nor the tears flowing from the eyes, nor the downcast expression on the face, nor any other outward signs, expressions, or forms of grief that truly represent me. These indeed may appear to signify grief, as they are actions that a person could mimic, but I possess something deeper within me that transcends mere appearance. These outward displays are merely the external trappings and manifestations of sorrow.
Hamlet, your devotion to mourning your father is touching and demonstrates your filial piety. However, you must understand that throughout history, every son has had to mourn his father for a certain period, as it's a natural part of life. Excessive mourning is simply obstinate. It's not a display of manliness, nor is it in line with God's will. It reveals a vulnerable heart and a lack of understanding and strength. Death is inevitable for everyone, so why should we allow it to weigh so heavily on us? Your prolonged mourning is not only a disservice to yourself, but also goes against the natural order of things. Please, cease this futile mourning and consider me as your new father. Everyone recognizes that you are the individual most closely connected to this throne, and my affection for you is akin to a father's love for his son. Your intention to return to Wittenberg doesn't align with my desires. Therefore, I implore you to remain here in my company, assuming the position of the highest-ranking member of my court, as both my nephew and now my son.
Hamlet, please don't disregard your mother's pleas. I beseech you, remain with us. Do not depart for Wittenberg.
I will do my utmost to comply with your wishes, madam.
Well, that's a delightful and agreeable response. Let's make Denmark feel like home for you. Madam, let's go now. Hamlet's easy agreement warms the cockles of my heart. In celebration, let's raise a toast to Denmark, with cannons booming to the heavens and the king's cheer echoing like thunder. Let's depart, shall we?
If only this tainted flesh could dissolve. If only it could melt away and become dew. Or if the Eternal hadn't forbidden suicide. Oh God, God! How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable all the uses of this world seem to me. Shame on it. Ah, shame. It's like an untended garden that has gone to seed. Foul and gross things in nature dominate it completely. That it should come to this. He's been dead just 2 months. No, not even that, not 2. Such an excellent king, he was like Hyperion to a satyr, so devoted to my mother that he wouldn't let the winds of heaven blow too harshly on her face. Heaven and earth, do I have to remember it? She would cling to him as if her appetite for love had grown from what it was fed on, and yet within a month. Let me not dwell on it, woman, your name is Frailty. Just a little month, before those shoes were old that she wore as she followed my poor father's body. Like Niobe, all in tears. Why, even she, oh God, even a beast that lacks reason would have mourned longer. Married my uncle, my father's brother, but not at all like my father. No more than I am like Hercules. Within a month, before the salt of her most unjust tears had dried from her weeping eyes, she married. Oh, such wicked haste to hurry with such skill to incestuous beds. It's not right. It can't lead to anything good, but break my heart, because I must remain silent.
Greetings to your lordship.
I am pleased to see you in good health. Horatio, or am I mistaken?
The same, my lord, and forever your humble servant.
Let's between us dispense with titles, sir, my good friend. And what brings you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus.
My good lord.
I'm so glad, so very glad to see you. Good evening, Barnado. Still, I need to know, what brings you here from Wittenberg, Horatio, if I may ask?
A desire to escape my studies, my lord.
I wouldn't want to hear even your worst enemy accuse you of such a thing, and I won't allow you to speak so poorly of yourself in my presence. I trust your word more than you realize. I know you're not one to skip out on your responsibilities, but what brings you to Elsinore? We'll make sure you have a good time before you leave.
My lord, I came to attend your father's funeral.
I beg you, don't jest with me, my fellow student. I believe it was to witness my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it happened very soon after.
Frugality, Horatio. The funeral leftovers were repurposed for the wedding feast, can you believe? I wish I'd encountered my worst enemy in heaven before I witnessed that day, Horatio. My father. I believe I see my father.
Where, sir? Where is it you see him?
In my thoughts, Horatio, in my imagination.
I saw him once. He was a noble king.
He was a man, considered in every aspect. I will never see another like him.
You know what? I'm sure I saw him last night. I'm sure we saw him last night.
Who are we talking about now? Who did you see last night?
It sounds daft, my lord. We saw, well, I think, the deceased king. Your father.
You say you saw the king? You saw my father, the king?
Temper your admiration for a moment and listen closely until I can explain, based on the testimony of these gentlemen, this extraordinary occurrence to you.
Don't keep me hanging. Let me hear it for God's sake. Spill the beans.
For 2 consecutive nights, these 2 gentle puskins, Marcellus and Barnardo, while on their watch, in the dead of night and in the middle of nowhere, encountered the following. A figure resembling your father, fully armed from head to toe, appeared before them and solemnly marched, slowly and majestically past them. 3 times he passed, within the length of his staff, while they, frozen, almost to jelly with fear, stood speechless and did not speak to him. They confided this dreadful secret to me, and I joined them on the 3rd night of their watch, where, as they had described, both in timing and appearance, every detail proved true. The apparition appeared again. I knew your father. These paws are no more similar.
Where was all this going down?
My lord, upon the very platform where we stand vigilant.
Did you not address it?
My lord, I did indeed, but it gave no response. Yet at one point, I thought I saw it raise its head and prepare to move, as if about to speak. But just then, the morning cock crowed loudly, and at the sound, it hastily shrank away and disappeared from view.
'Tis indeed very strange.
As I live, my honoured lord, it is true, and we believed it our duty to inform you of it.
Indeed, gentlemen, but this troubles me. Will you keep watch tonight?
Yes, sir, we
We
will
do,
be
my
there.
lord.
And you said it was armed?
Yes, fully armed, sir.
Armed, my lord.
From top to toe?
From head to foot.
By armed to the back teeth, I say, sir.
In that case, you mustn't have been able to see any face, did you not?
They couldn't see his face the first time around, because he had his helmet down when he first glided past. But when I went along to sniff around, he didn't have any face covering at all.
What was the expression like? Frowning by any chance?
You know what? He looked way more sad-faced than angry.
Tell me, was he really pale like Casper the Friendly Ghost, or did he have a bit of a beetroot face?
Very pale he was, sir. Very, very pale.
Did he see you? Was he looking at you?
The entire time. It was a bit unnerving, to be honest. I don't like being stared at like that.
I'm envious of the experience. I wish I'd been there with you all.
Most shocked you would have been. Shocked, I tell ye.
I'm sure I would have been. Did it stick around very long?
Imagine someone counting to 100 really slowly. I guess maybe that long. Give or take.
It was way longer than that.
No, you're wrong. It was their ages.
I'm talking about when I was there.
Tell me about its whiskers. Did it have whiskers like my dad's whiskers?
Just like your dad's whiskers, mate. Exactly the same. Mostly silver whiskers with a couple of dark brown stripy-like bits nearer where they come out of the cheeks.
I need to see this. I'm coming with you when you stand guard tonight. Perhaps it will come again. I hope so.
I'm sure it will come out again.
If it takes on the likeness of my noble father, I will address it, even if hell itself were to open up and command me to stay silent. I implore you all, if you have kept this sight hidden until now, continue to keep it concealed in your silence, and whatever else may occur tonight, perceive it but do not speak of it. I will repay your kindnesses. Farewell for now. Between 11 and 12, I'll come to see you on the platform.
Our duty to your honor.
Our duty to your honor.
Our duty to your honor.
From love, not duty. And you have my love in return too, friends. Good night. My father's ghost in arms. He should be resting in peace, not roaming about armed. It is very clear to me that all is not well. I have a strong suspicion of foul play. Oh, how I wish the night would come. Until then, my own soul must be patient. It is all very fishy. Evil deeds will surface, of that I am sure. Even if they are buried beneath the entire earth, then they will still surface for all to see.